Welcome back. All right, so again, because Saturday we have games that are early, we have 11 games on, one postponement. Because we have early games, I'm doing the review tonight. Now, I'm going to start with postponement, of course, is Vancouver and Edmonton. The news out of Vancouver over the last couple of hours leads me to think Vancouver may not return. At least if they do it could be weeks from now. Like it's not good news. So while other teams have gotten shut down and they've been out for a while, what we're seeing with Vancouver, it could be a long time. And so we'll see what the NHL does with the schedule. We'll see how many teams are affected. We've already seen that on Sunday, the Jets and the Senators will play a game that wasn't scheduled to be played on Sunday, which is kind of what I thought would happen, where they'll try to fit in other games so that other teams aren't being, put through the grinder if slash when the team returns. But I just hope everybody's okay, and that this that it does only last for like a week and that they can come back and play. But again, it's very likely to get pushed back. And it underlines just how important it is that players here do their best to stay as safe as possible. And not only that, but again, it is admirable the sacrifices being made by players this year, and I think that's something that can get overlooked. It can get overlooked, especially in the case of every night I'm doing all these reviews. For players, in the case of being on the road, you're very controlled with where you're going and what you're doing, and there's reasons. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully for the Canucks, it doesn't end up being as bad as it looks right now. But it just feels like it's a level above what any other team's gone through so far this year. So again, that'll likely be in a news video tomorrow. I'll discuss it then, but let us discuss tomorrow's games now. 1 p.m. Eastern, we got two games starting, so that's 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific. I don't have my own time zone. I've explained that before. There isn't a THD time zone. Pittsburgh and Boston. So Boston's won 3 out of 5, but it feels like Pittsburgh's the better team right now, and that's because they are. Boston's 18-10-5. Pittsburgh's 24-11-2. Brian Rust, 14 goals, 14 assists. Excellent player, always crashing the net. McCann has been playing very well lately as well. 8 goals and 8 assists for him on the season. On the Boston side, Krejci has a goal and 20 assists. It'd be great to see him get a couple of goals or something to get going for them on that second line. Marchand, 14 goals, 23 assists. You can count on him for a lot of offense, but again, outside of that first line, they're just not generating enough. Also at 1 o'clock Eastern, the 21-5 Detroit Red Wings in against the 25-9-2 Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay's won 3 out of 4. Detroit brings their A game every night, so I expect that even though this is a morning game or afternoon game for them, right? I expect a good game from them. Robbie Fabry, 10 goals and 8 assists. It'll be interesting to see how long he's a Red Wing. Since he's one of the more valuable pieces they have, do they consider moving him at the deadline? What does Eiserman do? And Hronik, 2 goals, 19 assists, 21 points. He's the leading scorer among Detroit's players. Maroon, 4 goals, 10 assists for him. He's been a very useful bottom 6 guy for Tampa. And Killorn, who again may get overlooked because he's in Tampa, 10 goals, 13 assists, 23 points for him. Then 2 hours later, 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, this team here, Nashville, at home against Chicago. And yes, I have the reverse retro hat for the Nashville Predators. So I got that. I got that today, and I got Chicago, and I got Florida. And it's not the one with the palm tree on the front. It's the one with the actual old Florida Panthers logo on the front. So 17-16-5 Chicago in against 19-18-1 Nashville. Nashville's won all 4 meetings between these teams. If they can win the other 4, Chicago, it's going to be really tough for them to make the playoffs. And for Nashville, that should put them into that 4th spot to stay. They have won 6 of their last 7. We'll see how things work out. DeBrincat, 19 goals, 17 assists. His season's been fantastic. Just amazing for Chicago. And Hagel, who is quietly having a very good rookie season. 5 goals, 9 assists for him. There are a lot of good young players in that Chicago lineup. This is a team that might be one to watch next season. No matter what happens from here, they may be a team to watch next year. Granlund, 8 goals, 7 assists for Nashville. Been an up and down season for him. We'll see if he stays through the deadline. And Yossi, 4 goals, 17 assists. He's not going anywhere. We know that. And he's been very good recently. So he's been a big part of the 6-game winning streak and everything that was going on with this team. Then we have a 4-hour break. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games starting at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. starting with the New York Rangers and the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo has at least been competitive the last few games, right? So 17, 15, and 4 is the record for the Rangers. 7, 23, and 6 is the record for the Buffalo Sabres. But again, the Sabres have been competitive. The game before they broke that losing streak, they had a lead, just couldn't hold it. So the Rangers have won 4 out of 5 in this series, including the last game they played against the Sabres. Zibanejad has really broken out of that early slump, thanks to Philadelphia, right? 12 goals, 16 assists for him on the season, not too shabby. Keandre Miller, 3 goals, 5 assists. The points don't tell you how important he is on the blue line. On the Buffalo side, interesting stories here. Stephen Fogarty, 5 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. He's been decent for them when he's played. And Skinner, 3 goals, 2 assists. I'll say this. Skinner's play over the last couple weeks has been better. I know he's been getting high danger opportunities all year, but I think he's playing better over the last couple of weeks. And I think he's becoming part of at least a solution before the season's out for Buffalo. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Philadelphia Flyers in against the New York Islanders. The Flyers are going to be watching that, but they also have to watch what they're doing because the Islanders are 23, 10, and 4 and kind of jacked up on the offense. At this point, Philadelphia has a 3-2 series lead with the New York Islanders. James Van Riemsdyk, 13 goals and 18 assists for him. He's cooled down from a great start, but still, keep an eye on him. Voracek, 5 goals and 22 assists. The goal scoring is not great with Voracek, but he gets all kinds of points with all those assists. Brock Nelson, 13 goals, 9 assists for the Islanders. He's been good goal-scoring presence, and you would expect that to be more prominent with Anders Lee out the rest of the year. And Casey Cizikas, again, I've talked about him before, but 7 goals, 7 assists, very good bottom 6 presence. Bottom 6 presence. I guess if you have 13 forwards, you have your bottom 7, right? But it's very rare you see 13 forwards and 5 defensemen. That coach would be asked some questions. Then also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, Dallas, 12, 12, and 10. Are they going for 12, 12, and 12? You sure? Carolina, 24, 8, and 3. Carolina's won all 4 meetings with Dallas. I don't see any reason to think that they won't win this one, too. Rope Hintz, 11 goals and 13 assists, has had an excellent season for Dallas. Tanner Carroll deserves a mention. 18 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, because, again, for a player who's been out of the league for a while, he's been useful. Bottom 6 role for Dallas. But I've liked him, and if they decided to keep him around next year at league minimum, hey, I wouldn't bother me at all. Trocheck, 14 goals and 13 assists. He came back from injury, and it was like he never left. Nachas, who's starting to turn a lot of heads, 9 goals, 19 assists for 28 points. It will be interesting when all these young players are all up and due for new contracts, how much money they get from Carolina, because for a team that doesn't really have any kind of cap conundrum right now, they could. If they're going to keep Hamilton, and then you've got Nachas, and you've got Svechnikov as well that are all going to get raises, it could get pricey quick, right? Then also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Columbus Blue Jackets in against Florida. Columbus's season hangs by a thread. They need to go on a winning streak. 14, 16, and 8. They had that win over Tampa, and then they lost the next one. They can't afford to play 500 hockey from here, because if they do, they will just fall right out. On the Florida side, 24, 9, and 4. Florida has won 3 out of 4 against Columbus. It's not an easy matchup for Columbus. There won't be a lot of sympathy out there for them right now. Max Domi, 5 goals, 9 assists. I've been saying he's been getting better lately. I think he has. Bjorkstrand, 13 goals, 17 assists, 30 points. It feels like he's cooled off a little bit on the goal-scoring side recently, but again, there are some good options here for Columbus. And let's get Laine a goal or two, can we? On the Florida side, Huberdeau, 14 goals, 28 assists, 42 points. In the absence of guys like Barkov and Hornquist, Huberdeau's been big, and he's lived up to any expectation that was thrown at him. Achari, 4 goals, 7 assists. He was at 0 points at 16, 17 games in the season. It feels like he was at 0 points for a while. 11 points is definitely respectable. Also at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, the Ottawa Senators trying to make life difficult for the Montreal Canadiens. But Montreal, unbeaten in the 2 games since they had their pause, which only affected 2 players. So they were fortunate there, right? 3 games for each team so far in this series. This is game number 7, and it feels like Montreal's kind of on a roll, and maybe Ottawa's chances of upsetting them are kind of out the door. If they're going to upset them, it's going to come down to a guy like Stützle, who's sitting at 6 goals and 13 assists. He's cooled off. And Shabbat, 4 goals, 17 assists. He's going to eat a lot of minutes. And if these two can maybe combine on a goal and things go well for the Senators early. Who knows? On the Montreal side, Gallagher, 14 goals, 9 assists. He's the lifeblood of this team up front. And Philippe Danault, who started to get goals and he's getting points. 3 goals, 16 assists, 3 goals, 16 assists, 19 points. And I was never one of the ones that said anything negative about Danault. I've learned over the years, when you see a guy who's off to a really slow start, say, I'm going to say, no, don't. And Philippe Danault, even when he's not scoring, he's useful. And when he is scoring, he's more useful. So there you go. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. St. Louis, they have to get this on track. What they need is they need to win, and then they need to keep winning. And they're going to need to beat Colorado. They have to find a way to beat Colorado. Colorado's won 2 out of 3 now. There's 5 more games against Colorado to come. 16, 14, and 6 is not a great record. That means they've won 16 out of 36 games. On the Colorado front, they're 24, 8, and 4. So they've won 24 out of 36 games. This is an issue right now, and for St. Louis, they got to turn it around. Kyrou, 10 goals, 14 assists. He needs to heat up again. And Hoffman, 9 goals, 12 assists. He had a goal tonight. He needs to get things going. Problem is, it'll be Grubauer because he had the night off tonight. They're going to need to find a way to solve Grubauer as well. Probably with Husso in net, you've got to think, since Binnington played tonight. Donskoy on the Colorado side, 15 goals, 13 assists. Absolutely red hot. Fantastic. I've always liked Donskoy. Kadri, 10 goals, 17 assists. Good player, solid player, not being asked to score a lot of points right now for Colorado, but he does chip in here and there, and he provides a lot to that team. Also at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, Minnesota, who will be watching this game. They'll also be watching what they're doing because they're in against Vegas again. Minnesota's now won 3 out of 5 against Vegas. Minnesota 22-11-2, Vegas 24-9-2. So if Minnesota can win this one in regulation, now we've got a fight going on, especially if, say, St. Louis were able to pull off a win over Colorado. All of a sudden, Minnesota's chances of finishing first, they kind of go up. So on the Minnesota front, Fiala, 10 goals, 9 assists, playing like the Fiala that we all feared in the return to play. And Spurgeon, 4 goals, 7 assists. Feels like he's picked up his game in recent weeks as well. William Karlsson, 10 goals, 16 assists. He may never score the way he did his first year in Vegas, but he's still a very dangerous forward. And Nosek, 4 goals, 7 assists. He's been picking up points lately too. So, do not underestimate that fourth line of the Vegas Golden Knights, or they will score. Their third line as well. Their bottom 6 provides enough offense to keep you honest. And then the last game of the night, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, the LA Kings will once again be facing the San Jose Sharks. And you've got to think it'll be Dubnyk in one end and Quick at the other. And we'll see if that changes the fortunes for the Kings at all. San Jose's won 4 out of 5 now. They're 16-16-4. LA's 14-15-6. So, yeah, for the Kings, they need to win. And for San Jose, if they win another one, it's going to be interesting. Hurdle, 11 goals, 13 assists for him. Meyer, 7 goals, 15 assists, 22 points. These are 2 players who were very prominent tonight. The Kings need to shut them down tomorrow. On the Kings side, Iafallo, 9 goals, 13 assists. There's been a lot of rumors of him being on the trade block. They could use a really good game from him and maybe a goal. And Doughty, 7 goals, 20 assists, having a much better season than last year. And now they kind of need some yeoman's work from him if they're going to make a push and get into a playoff spot. But it'll be interesting. So let me know in the comment section below your predictions of who you think will win these games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And I feel very blessed and very fortunate that I get to do this for you every day and every night. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.